everyone. Welcome to Dialogue Alley for this week. This is Erik with just a little message before we get going. You may have noticed that we did not have a normal episode that we released on Tuesday this week. That is because if you saw on our Instagram that Carly's audio is having some technical difficulties. You probably heard it in the previous episode, but that still was an issue for this last episode that Melanie recorded with her while I was at Disneyland. So Carly has done a lot of troubleshooting and has figured out what was causing all of that. So we're kind of taking a week off now that she got that sorted. So instead, I'm going to put out one of our classic episodes, which I absolutely love. This was one that came out, I believe, in season 2, where we ranked the artwork on the U.S. Harry Potter books. And I always like revisiting these lists that we made in past episodes because, as many of you probably feel the same way, you have a favorite something, like a favorite book or a favorite cover, and that changes over time depending on certain things. So I always like listening to what I thought was my favorite, in the past and comparing it to what it is now. And I think mine is about the same, but I'd be interested to see what you think, if you think that you have changed your mind on what your favorite artwork for the U.S. books are now compared to maybe a year ago or 2 years ago or even 5 years ago. Who knows? Or maybe when they came out in the late 90s when you were a kid. So enjoy this episode. And I also do want to mention that the last episode that is not going to be released to the public, it's only on our Patreon because it's borderline unlistenable. Melanie and Carly did discuss in depth the unfortunate news from Scholastic that Mina Lima will not be commissioned to do the remainder of the illustrated editions. They've done books 1, 2, and 3, and they are not commissioned to do 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we are absolutely devastated by that. Scholastic has assured us that there's going to be someone else completing the series, and I don't know if that means the same person for the remaining 4 books, or if they're going to commission someone else for movie 4, then movie 5, then movie 6. Book 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. So, we just really don't know what's going to happen and what the future of that is going to be, but hopefully it's someone good, or, the books turn out well, but it's really difficult for me personally to imagine, and I'm sure Melanie and Carly discussed this in their episode, that I don't think it's going to be able to be replicated the same way. It just kind of feels like an incomplete series, and I know that we've already had bad news that Jim Kay will not be finishing the illustrated editions that he has been doing. So, of course, he had Neil Packer help him for book 5, but now we have 2 more books in the Jim Kay illustrated series that won't be illustrated by Jim Kay. And to me, I understand Jim Kay is going through a lot personally, and he had to step back, and those books are a huge undertaking. I totally understand that. That doesn't mean we still can't be disappointed that he is not going to be illustrating books 6 and 7. But I think we all kind of felt a little comfort knowing that the Mina Lima books were going to be done, and they were going to do all 7. So this really came as kind of a shock that, we weren't going to have that continuity of the same illustrators doing all 7 books. So that's just, really disappointing. And, I don't think there's anyone out there that is happy with the news that Mina Lima is not doing the rest of the series. I know Mina Lima is not happy that they're not doing the rest of the series. So it's not just, it wasn't like they said we don't want to do it anymore. They just weren't commissioned to do it. So who knows? Who knows where that's going to go and what it's going to look like. But, honestly, that 3-pack where they come in a set with books 1, 2, and 3, the Mina Lima editions, that might be worth picking up now because that is going to be the complete Mina Lima illustrated series. So maybe I will pick that up because the box set of that does look kind of cool. So anyway, we thought with all of this talk about art that, re-releasing this classic episode this week about artwork on the cover of the book would be kind of fitting. So we hope you enjoy Next week we'll be back to our normal scheduled episode, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, P.S. Enjoy the old theme song.
Three up, two across, tap that play button 3 times, and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello and welcome to the podcast. Dialogue Alley is a show all about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I am Melanie from the Harry Potter collection, and with me is Erik from Nocturne Erik.
Howdy.
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 Aw,
I thought I'd try howdy.
that's new.
I know it's new.
You're trying testing
Testing it out. I mean, Carly says howdy sometimes, so I thought I'd give it a whirl.
You know, sometimes howdy works. Well, Erik and I are both Harry Potter book translation collectors. So we have so many Harry Potter books in all of these different languages, and we made a podcast to talk about it.
That accurately describes exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's like, you know, those things where it's like, oh, tell me in the least amount of words what you do. Or like describe this movie poorly. And it's
I love those. Describe your job like in a very poor way. Yeah, I love those.
Yeah. Describe our podcast in a poor way. Talk about books about kid wizard.
We discuss books that we can't read.
That's exactly it. Oh. We could read some of them, because some of them are in English, so we could read those ones. That's fine.
We collect hundreds of books that we can't read.
That's it. And we talk about them on this podcast.
Yep, that's it.
But in today's episode, we are going to be talking about books that we actually can read, which is good and exciting. But we'll get to that with our main segment. First is news? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't really have any news. I don't even think we need to do a little segue tune, or maybe we do. Do you have anything incoming? Oh, I know you bought a book.
Oh, I did. I did buy a book because I goofed. Should I tell everyone my goof?
Yeah, you should, because you're not alone in that goof.
It's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing.
Honestly.
It's not. Because
but I'm so glad.
Especially because one of our Discord members is listening right now. Also, I did that goof, so I think you're allowed to talk about it.
Okay, so here's the goof. Thankfully, Erik is such a good friend, and he visited my website and was looking through all of the pictures that I have on my website, and he saw my picture for the second translation Korean book, and he goes, oh, you just have to update this because it's not the right picture. And I said, what do you mean it's not the right picture? Because I thought that it was the correct one, and it's not. So I have not the second translation Korean, but it's on the way.
It's on the way.
So,
and I feel like that's a very hard book to figure out if you have the new one or not. I mean, it's not, but it is, because there's a clear way to know that you have the right one. It has the anniversary sticker on the front, just like the new English book just came out with that new sticker. But yeah, they have it's Johnny Depp cover for the new translation, and there's a Johnny Depp cover for the old translation also.
I know.
So that's the really confusing part. And the font is different too on the title, and both of them come in 2 volumes as well. There's also a hardcover book that comes in 1 volume, which I did a whole bonus episode about. So if you don't listen to our bonus episodes, you should, because if you want to hear me talk about a book that I'm in love with, not for real, but I like it a lot. I don't want to marry it, but it's really beautiful. Boy, I'm just digging myself into a hole here.
A little bit.
Yeah, I did a bonus episode on that. So if you are one of our Patreon members, you get access to our bonus episodes that we put out. So you can hear me talk about one of my favorite books, which I was the only one that had that book, but now Melanie will have it also because
Thank goodness.
I believe you ordered the 1-volume hardcover, right?
I did, which I'm really excited about also because I've listened to your bonus episode, so I'm stoked to get this book. But I mean, I guess in other news, I'm going to be selling the other book that I have that I don't need because it's so if anyone needs just a first translation Korean with Johnny Dettle cover art, hit me up because I'm going to be selling those because I don't need them.
Yes.
I think that's pretty much it for news.
I think so too, except there was one, I was thinking of something else that just came to my attention. It was about Korean. It was about, so that just reminds me of the fact that we need to talk about the Spain books some more because, not right now, but I feel like we need to still distinguish between the original Spanish and the Southern Cone Spanish, and I think that's still a discussion that we're having a lot on our Discord.
Yeah, I think in one of the episodes coming up, if not the next episode, maybe the one after that, and we have to make sure that Carly's available to chat about it too. And we can definitely chat a bit more with Sean from Potterglot to like really, really confirm on everything, but just do like a clear black and white, like these are the books that we count on our list. Because I know like I count 97 now because of the 2 variations that we discussed with Sean. And that means that there are 4 Spanish translations and the 2 Italian translations. So because of the fact that Sean really said that they're different enough, we could definitely go into deeper detail to discuss all of that.
Yeah, and I think it's just worth mentioning again that like this isn't like we don't have a definitive list. This is what we have decided, which is we haven't talked to other people yet that still collect these, right? I don't think Peter's been in the loop on any of these discussions.
I chatted with him about it.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, when he came for the 1-year anniversary of
that's right.
Harry Potter New York.
That's right.
So we chatted about translations over Pad Thai, and I was telling him about it. And I was like, "Don't worry, I'm pretty sure you have these books, so you still have them all." But
I'm sure he does because he gets absolutely everything. Yeah. But yeah, it would be nice just to have people that are really visible, I guess, in the translation collection community to kind of somewhat agree. Otherwise, there really won't be like a definitive list, which there still isn't, right? Because everyone's collection is their own collection. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and everyone collects different things. Like Sean collects all of these unauthorized translations, and I know you collect some unauthorized. I've been dabbling in unauthorized, but I still don't count those in my list. I just kind of get them because cover art's cool, and that's pretty much it. But
speaking of that, one of my colleagues is going to Kenya for like a month because she goes to Kenya a lot.
Ooh.
And I was like, hey, there has to be a book in Swahili. There has to be. So can you just
knock on some doors?
Because she has a lot of friends in Kenya, right? So I'm like, there has to be someone that you know there that would know the answer to this, or like knows of like a market where you might be able to buy one or find one. So I'm not saying there is one in Swahili, but there has to be, right? So many people speak that language. There has to be a book in Swahili somewhere floating around. And I feel like
somewhere
Nairobi would be a good spot to start looking.
Definitely think so.
So she'll be on the lookout. I have no expectations that she will find one, but I mean, she's going for other reasons, not to look for books for me, but she said she'd keep an eye out.
Good. Keep us posted.
Yes. And you know what else we can keep our eye out for, Melanie?
Is it the main segment?
Well, it's the books in the main segment, yeah.
Oh. I mean, you could keep your eye out, or I guess you would keep your ears out for the main segment. But your eyes out for the books? I don't know. Let's talk about the main segment.
Okay, so for the main segment today, we are going to do another ranking episode. And if you've listened to our other ranking episode where we rank our favorite books 1 through 7, and we said that list would never change. We would never change our mind, but we probably have already changed our minds. We are going to be ranking the artwork on the first 7 U.S. Harry Potter books, which is the Mary Grand Pré art.
I'm pretty excited about this. And I will put a disclaimer out saying these are the 7 original cover arts. It does not include the 10th anniversary. It does not include the Scholastic School Market, even though those are both Mary Grand Pré. Because I feel like that would sway everything. So this is just the original cover art.
Yeah,
you can still go to the store and buy right now.
Yeah, definitely. Which, man, I was at Target when? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday with my son. And boy, he loves getting pushed around in that cart. Except he always wants to get not the first cart that's available in the stack. He's like, want that one. And it's number 2 or 3. So I always have to pull out 3 carts and then sit him in one and then put them all back. Which that's
called picking and choosing your battles, because who would know what happened if you didn't pick the cart that he wanted?
It is hilarious that other people come in. I'm like, here's a cart for you, ma'am. And she's like, what? Whoa, thanks. And I'm like, yep, no problem.
That's probably what he likes. He probably likes the whole process.
I did tell this one lady, she seemed older, 60, 70. She's probably 70. And I was like, here you go, man. Would you like a cart? And she's like, yeah. And I said, this one wasn't good enough for us, apparently. And I don't think she understood, but this one wasn't good enough. It didn't meet our standards.
No, definitely did not.
but what I was saying was, you can still get all these Grand Pré covers at Target of all places, right? It's not even a bookstore. They sell books there, but it's not a bookstore, and you can buy these covers, and they're relatively unchanged. They might be a little bit, if they're the paperbacks, they're going to look just a tiny bit different because they're paperbacks, but really they don't, because it's the same cover art. They just won't have the stuff on the back and the spine and the flaps on the inside.
Yep, but same art. And
same
that's
art.
What we're going to be talking about.
And when we're ranking these, I ranked mine 1 is my favorite. 7 is my least favorite. Okay. And then I also did my ranking solely based on the front of the book. I didn't really think about the back or the flaps.
Correct. I agree with that.
Okay.
I did the same. And also, I would say this has nothing to do with book content, because this is solely book front cover ranking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I found myself my favorite book. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it.
All right. Let's get into it.
Should we get into it? Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So the first book in the series, everyone, it's called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You may have read it, maybe multiple times, but to us, we've mentioned this many times on the show. This has become, I think, what I think all of us would consider the de facto standard Harry Potter cover. When you think Harry Potter, you think of this cover. And not even if you're American, if you are from all over the world, because other countries have used this cover for their translations. It shows up on promotional material. I think outside of the United Kingdom and Canada, maybe Australia too. But I mean, even people there know this cover. It's just so iconic at this point. So you all know what it looks like. We could do a little brief description. Harry's, trying to catch a snitch, going through archways on a broom. There's a unicorn in the background. The main colors, when I look at this, I get really drawn to the gold foiling of the font, the Harry Potter font, and just kind of the orangey tan of the building contrasted with kind of the purple and I don't know, reddish, pinkish.
Mm-hmm. Sunset colors.
Yeah. So it's not a bright cover, but it seems happy. I feel happy when I look at this cover.
So what would you score it?
I gave it a 3.
Erik gave it a 3.
So it's my third favorite cover that Mary Grand Pré has illustrated. I also want to mention, it's because it's the same artist doing all 7 of these books, I feel like we can critique things a little bit more, like what Harry looks like and how he looks younger in this book compared to Deathly Hallows when he clearly looks like he's 17 years old. The style is very similar in all of these covers, so I really like that, has that general progression of age. Like you can see how he grows, which you can do that in the UK books also, but it's a different person interpreting the the characters in their own way. They want to like kind of keep it similar, but also make sure it looks like it's a work of art that they created, not just trying to copy the person before them.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with you.
So what would you give Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone?
I mean, the thing is, I agree with everything that you've said about it. I'm very drawn to the gold and purple. For whatever reason, like gold and purple together are like magical colors to me. I just feel like the two of them together look so magical. I don't know. That's just like when I think of like magic spell, magic colors, whatever, I think of gold and purple. But
I agree. And like this book just evokes like a feeling of like magic. Like when you look at the cover,
100%.
when you look at the cover, you're like, I know what this is going to be about. There's no guessing. You're like, hey, it's about a kid who is a wizard and there's going to be some magic happening. Woohoo. Which is great. That's what you want for this.
100%. And I love that this cover, like it doesn't give anything away as well. Like it's literally just Harry trying to catch a snitch. Like that's it. But if you've never read Harry Potter before, there's no like spoilers on it.
Well, Fluffy is under the castle.
Yeah, but like it's just like magical things. Like you don't know who Fluffy is. You don't know what a unicorns are. Whatever, unicorns are unicorns. Everybody knows what a unicorn is. Most people know what a Cerberus is. Like they're just mystical, magical creatures. So I feel like the book just kind of exudes that. Because of how iconic this cover is and just how sentimental the cover is, I gave it a 1. This is my favorite, I think, of the 7.
I think you're allowed.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had a really hard time putting this between 3 and 2. So like I might change mine to 2 once we talk about what I gave it to, because
oh boy,
3 seems low to me, but also I can't let like the nostalgia of this get in the way of what I feel about the art.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, and I definitely went back and forth between this and my number 2 as well. But I don't know. I feel like it stayed favorite.
It stayed favorite.
It stayed 1. It stayed favorite. What would you say is your number? I don't know. It's not your number 2. What would your score be for number 2?
So, Chamber of Secrets is number 2. And This book has a lot of red on it, red and tan. Harry's still smiling. He smiles a lot in the American books, at least in the first 4. He's very happy. So I gave it a 4. I really like it. It reminds me a lot of the first cover. I like the red. I like the red with the silver font, if that makes sense. I really think that contrast, like the silver over the red, is just really, really cool.
Yeah. I feel like this is one that you have to look at it for a little while to kind of really see what the image actually is. Because I always just felt like it was just like Harry and red. Like I never really looked at it and was like, oh my God, it's a phoenix. Like he's holding on to Fox. That's what's happening. It's the wing.
Here. The wing is the whole red at the top.
Right. So yeah, I know. I feel like it's like you really have to kind of look deeply at it to kind of understand it, truthfully. I gave Chamber of Secrets a 5. So it's my 5th favorite. What did you say it was for you?
Oh, 4th? I gave it a 4. I'm sorry, I didn't put that in the document. There we go.
So this is going to be golf scores. Whichever one is the lowest is the official rank.
Yes.
Golf scores. Got it. But yeah, I gave it a 5. I feel like it's like a little bit harder to read at first glance. I do also really like the silver. I love the fact that Chamber of Secrets is like written in blood on the wall. Like I
Oh
feel like
yeah.
that's really
Ooh.
nice nod. Which I think is really cool. I feel like it's the only book that kind of like incorporates some plot into the title like that, which is really cool. But yeah, there are just other ones that I like a bit more.
I just like the red. It's my favorite out of print shirt to wear out of all of them.
Ooh, I get that.
You know, people are
I
like, "Oh,
definitely get
Harry." I had someone comment on it. They're like, "Oh, Harry Potter. That's my least favorite book, though." And I was like, "Yeah, mine too." But I like the shirt. It's my favorite shirt.
There you go.
All right. Prisoner of Azkaban. This is my favorite book in the series. However, it is not my favorite art. I gave it a 5, and I don't know. It's something about what Buckbeak looks like to me in this picture that I just don't love, and I don't know why. It just doesn't. I don't really like any of the covers with Buckbeak on it. I guess I'm just not a fan of like the hippogriffs like aesthetic.
Which is interesting because the Swedish Prisoner of Azkaban is in like my top 5 favorite covers in the world.
Oh, do I have that? I'm looking now.
It's so good. It's so good. It's gorgeous.
Oh, I do. Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay. So I agree with you. That is an amazing cover. I think the hippogriff looks better in this than it does in the American one. It like the American one, it looks happy. You know, it's just like, hey, I'm smiling.
Harry just saved its life.
He did. I mean, everyone's smiling in the first 3 covers, right? Like I said, or even the first 4. Yeah, I guess I'm just not a big fan of the hippogriff being the like sole center of this whole art. And there are other subtleties, like you can see Sirius Black's shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can see Hermione on the front, but not Ron. So you're kind of like, well, why is it just Harry and Hermione? Where's Ron? And this is not on the cover, but it is worth noting that like Scabbers is on the cover too, on one of the parts you fold out.
Ooh.
So that's a huge foreshadowing there. It's like, why is he so prominent on the cover? Why is there a big rat on the front? So it's kind of like a little like teaser.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I gave this cover a 3. It's my 3rd favorite. I love the Buckbeak. And I'll get into it more, I guess, when we talk about the later books, but I just like the amount of detail and all of the stuff that they kind of added and incorporated into it. We see that a lot less in books 4 through 7. So, yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love the green foiling. Love the green foiling.
I do like the green foiling. I think the green foiling, the main thing I love about the US books compared to other countries is that the foiling is different in every single one. And that's consistent on the spine as well. And I remember thinking like when we got to book 4 maybe, or even book 5, like that was what I was thinking. Like, what's the next color going to be of the foiling? And I don't know why. I don't know why I remember thinking that, but I'm like, well, we've had gold, we've had silver, we've had green, we've had like orange, which is in Goblet of Fire. I'm like, what's it gonna be next? It had to have been before book 5 when I was really thinking about that. But I'm like, oh, what colors are left? We got, purple, we got blue, we got. Are they gonna do like I don't know. I remember thinking about that. I guess maybe I was the only one. Maybe I was the only one.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. So Goblet of Fire, I'll come right out. I gave it a 7. This is my least favorite cover in the series, which I'll tell you why. I don't like how long Harry's wand is. I think it's absurdly long. It's like a broom handle. It's just gigantic. And I don't like how like happy he is still. Like, I don't know, especially with the people in the background not being happy, and he's just kind of like, hey, everyone, check out my wand. And I'm like, it's just a big picture of me. I don't know. I feel like if you look at it as a whole, like if you unfold the whole jacket and you see all the other smaller details, I really like that. But just on the cover, for some reason, I didn't love it. And I still don't love it, but it is fun, right?
Well, I gave this a 2. I love this cover. I don't know why I'm so drawn to it, and I feel like it's another one of those that's like so nostalgic and iconic. It's like, also it was the first Harry Potter book that it was significantly larger than the first 3
totally.
books. Like, you got Goblet of Fire and you were instantly intimidated by how big this book was, and I don't know, I just feel like I have so many more like standout memories of the book. This is the first one, right, that like Harry is a main focal feature on the cover, where it's Harry, and then everything else is kind of like secondary, because you have Cedric, you have Victor Crumb, and you have Fleur in the background, but Harry's really like stand front. And I remember Patricia was talking about that, where the Spanish books like followed suit, where books 4, 5, 6, and 7 all were really like featuring Harry. And I guess it's because like obviously like that's where the money is. It's like it's a Harry Potter book, like it needs to have Harry Potter on the cover. So I don't know. It's just like this image of Harry is super iconic and just completely stands out to me. I love it. I love this one.
Yeah, but even though it's my least favorite of the 7, that doesn't mean I don't like it, right?
It's your 7th favorite cover.
It's my 7th favorite cover, exactly. But you know what, though?
What?
I'm switching it. I'm switching it to 6.
Oh my gosh.
I'm switching it to 6. It's going to be 6 for me.
All right, I'm changing the maths.
Changing the math. Maths for all you UK folks. Maths with an S.
Changed the maths.
Do you ever hear someone from the UK talk about maths?
No, but I'll ask my UK friends about maths.
Ask her like what some of her favorite and least favorite classes were in school, and she'll say maths for one of the answers, and then then you can giggle.
I will. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that learn European English like say maths, which is they just abbreviate mathematics to maths with the S still.
Oh, I like that though.
You know,
I like it.
And we changed it to math without the S. It just sounds so jarringly different that you're like, what? Are you wrong? Am I wrong? What's right? What's wrong? The world is collapsing. I will add, I do, for this cover, I do like that there's other stuff in the background. That's why I'm switching it, because there is still other things in the background. And yeah, all your points about nostalgia are spot on for me. Like, I remember getting this in the mail, being so intimidated by how big it was, but I'm like, he's looking at me and he's encouraging me to just go, or he's going to smack me with that giant snow shovel handle that he's holding on the front.
Oh boy. All right. How do you feel about that. Order of the Phoenix?
It's my favorite one. I gave it a number 1.
Wow.
Yep. It's my favorite cover. And I will tell you why, because it is blue and black and blue. I think that is so cool looking. I remember getting that book thinking this looks really cool. I don't feel that the first 4 books are, quote, cool looking. They look like kids' books. They look like they're happy and fun and reading a kid's book. And that's fine. I don't really care what book I'm holding and how I feel holding it. But, like other languages came out with adult covers for books because they thought they would appeal to a bigger audience. I feel like book 5, it just looks cool. I think the color palette's just spot on. I just love how there's nothing else.
The blue color palette.
Yeah, the blue and black. I love it. And it's unfortunate that the out of print shirt is like a gray, I think. And I don't even have it because I just don't like how it contrasts with the cover. But if the shirt was blue, I would have bought it. But I didn't because it was gray. But I love the candles. I love that there's more to this cover that meets the eye when you open it up too. Like, you really don't realize what part of the book this is until you read the book. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I like that this is a scene from the book, like the other ones, but you have no idea what part this is going to be until you read it. And you're like, wow, it actually is from the story. It's not just like a cool looking cover.
So I gave this one a 7.
This is great. I love this conversation.
It's actually my least favorite cover. I just like how all of the other ones are so much more colorful, and I feel like books 5, 6, and 7 are so monotone. I like all of the color of the first 4 books, like, and I really appreciate that. And I feel like there's so much more detail without giving away too much for the first 4 books, and I feel like this is just very singularly noted. So,
Oh, I totally understand that. And also, like the way we're looking at this, Melanie has them stacked, the first 4 on the top and the next 3 on the bottom. What you said is absolutely right. Like there's a huge difference between the first 4 and the last 3, and I don't necessarily like that. I wish they would have continued with 5, 6, and 7 with the same kind of style. And by they, I mean Mary Grand Pré. I wish it had just been continued that way. And I remember thinking when I got book 5 that it looked very different than the first 4. But looking at it by itself, I still think it's my favorite art. However, I wish 5, 6, and 7 would have continued that kind of busier style that the first 4 did.
gotcha. All right, what do you think about book 6?
Gave it a number 2. It's my second favorite book. Although I might switch it with book 1, which was I had as a 3. Because the more I look at it, and I like book 6 for all the same reasons I like book 5. It's green.
I mean,
However,
green's my favorite color. So I mean, I gave this one a 4 because green's my favorite color. And also, I don't know. I know that we're like solely looking at the cover art, but I feel like with these books, you can't help but have like nostalgic memories attached
I know,
to these books.
right?
And
it's
like,
hard.
like 6 is the most iconic book that I read, and holding that book in my hand, it's like the perfect book, and that holding that book, it just feels like home. And that's how I feel about looking at this cover. I love that it features Dumbledore just as much as it features Harry.
Yes.
It's just, I love it. I love book 6.
I love it too. I love that it's the color they chose to offset the green was purple this time. You know, like the book 5, it was like it's blue, and we're gonna make the words blue also. And this one, it's like, oh, we're gonna make the words purple. Because why? Oh, because we haven't done purple yet, so let's do it.
Yeah, no, I love it.
So the purple and the green. I think when we had Tom on, this was one of his favorite covers. I think of the 7.
Yeah, and Carly always says that too because she loves green,
but
she loves this cover.
You know what? I'm still gonna leave it at a 2. Just like if I have this giant print of book 1 on my wall by my book library area, and I like it a lot. But if I was going to hang one on the wall that big, I would rather have it be book 6 than book 1. Just by art. I don't know. I don't know. But now I really like book 1. Okay, I'll still think. I might still change it. Who knows?
I think leave it.
Leave it?
Leave it.
I think leave it? Okay.
Leave it.
3's a good score, right? You get a medal for coming in 3rd.
That's a great. You still got a medal.
Yeah.
You still got a medal. It's so good. And then there's only one book left.
Yeah, which Deathly Hallows is 7. I changed it with Goblet of Fire. I'm giving it a 7.
I see that.
And orange is my favorite color, and I just don't like what Harry's doing on the front of this book.
He's like using like a force hold
To hold up the word Potter.
Holds up the second T that's slightly drooping below the first T in Potter.
Yeah, I remember being underwhelmed when I got this book and looked at it. I mean, Voldemort's on the back, so that's kind of a redeeming factor, but we're not talking about the back today. Yeah, I wish there was something more going on. What's in the background? Like I always thought it looked like the Colosseum.
Yeah, I thought so too. I feel like it's supposed to be like the ruins of Hogwarts,
Which it probably is, and I don't know why the sky is that. I mean, it's because it's like dawn. This happens at dawn. But yeah, I was just underwhelmed. I feel like as the culminating book in this series, there could have been just something more exciting than just a picture of Harry standing there. Like he could, at least book 6, they have the pensive. Book 5, you don't know it, but they're in the Ministry of Magic and you got the blue candles in the Department of Mysteries. Like there's something else there that you're like, what is that? Here it's like, oh, there's Harry standing there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's just underwhelming. I feel like it's very underwhelming. All right. With that, I'm looking at our scores, and there's a three-way tie.
Oh my gosh.
But definitively, our first favorite is Sorcerer's Stone.
I'm happy.
Followed by Half-Blood Prince. I feel good about that.
I'm very happy with that. Yep.
The three-way tie is between Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, and Order of the Phoenix, which if I were to rate like the order, if we were to do like a 1 through 7 order of our favorites, I would rate it that way. So it would be Sorcerer's Stone, Half-Blood Prince, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, because of the fact that like our scores were closer together.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, yeah, you gave Azkaban we gave it a 5 and a 3. So they're closer together than the 6 and the 2 versus the 1 and the 7. Yeah.
Right. So that's how
I'm
I would
cool
score
with that. Yep.
Then placing in 6th is Chamber of Secrets, and in last place is the cover for Deathly Hallows with a score of 13.
That was higher than all the other ones. If you can do maths.
If you do maths.
If you do maths, I'm okay with that list, really, because if you told me like, hey Eric, this is the order that you like these covers, I would say, okay, that seems fine. The only one I really Order of the Phoenix would bother me, where it is on the final list versus where it is on my personal list.
Yeah, that's true. That I know it falls a bit low, but yeah, not too bad. So yeah, that's a good ranking. I feel decent.
I do too. I'm curious to find out what Carly thinks about these.
Yeah, me too. But you know what book has a completely different cover art that we should talk about?
Icelandic?
That does, but that's not today's translation of the show.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about what is the translation of the show. Of the show today is a book that I absolutely love, so I'm really excited to talk about it.
Me too, and I feel like this is one that came out of the blue, so to speak. When it was one of the you see what I did there? It was one of the first ones that really caught my attention as like a book that originally came out with the Grand Prix cover art and had something totally different, and I was like, whoa, I need that right now, even though I have this book already.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm so happy that they did the entire set with these new covers. So the book that we're talking about is the 20th anniversary Bulgarian, which is a phenomenal book, brand new, unique cover art that is absolutely stunning. So and
it's not only on the outside, it's on the inside. Like, this art is everywhere.
It's absolutely amazing. Now I'm flipping through.
There's not chapter art at the beginning of the chapters.
No, but you know, just getting a little taste of the whole book. But
yeah, okay.
But yeah, and on the end papers there's imaging as well, but we'll get into all of that when we do our tots. So the translator is the same as the original Bulgarian. I'm pretty sure it's the same text block. If anything, maybe there were like a couple of little changes. But the translator is Teodora Zabrova.
I'd say Jabarova.
I didn't know what the D and the Z sounded like.
The DZHE combo.
I know that's a tricky combo. And the publisher is still Egmont Group. So
yeah, they just decided everything's the same. They just decided let's change it up. Let's get a little spicy.
Yeah, and we haven't done Bulgarian before, so we're going to give you a little bit of information just about the Bulgarian language. It is a South Slovak language, and it is spoken in southeastern Europe, primarily in Bulgaria. There are 8 million native speakers, and the language is not only spoken in Bulgaria, but also in Albania, Greece, Romania, North Macedonia, Moldova, Serbia, Turkey, and Ukraine. So it's pretty wide out there.
I feel like anytime we mention any of the languages from any of those countries you just mentioned, we mention all of those countries together, right? I feel like there's, which makes sense, right? I mean, like a lot of these South Slavic languages are spoken in Southeastern Europe all over the place because they used to all be, more. They weren't all independent countries at one point, so a lot of people were moving around, but now they are independent countries. So it doesn't mean that people all of a sudden have to like forget that they can speak other languages. In fact, we encourage them not to forget that they can speak other languages.
Yes, must speak languages.
Oh, and Victor Krum speaks Bulgarian, and his parents. They talk about it in the book. What?
It's amazing. So what would you say is the rarity of this book?
I haven't looked lately, but I feel like you can still get this book.
I think so as well. I'm pretty sure that they're still available. I think I got mine from Sean.
I got mine from a girl in Bulgaria. I found her on Instagram and asked if she could.
That's exciting.
Like, we were already talking about other stuff, and then this book came out, and I asked if she could send it to me, and she did. I think I sent her a thank you card. Oh, and I threw a $2 bill in there.
Did you get the whole set? Oh, a $2 bill. So fun.
No, just book one.
Just book one. All right. Well, that's good. At least you have it. And we can
I know.
talk about it. Value, I guess at this point is just like what you'd pay for the book. I feel like it's probably like a bit above book price, like what you would buy for a new book. Also, shipping costs, I feel like, are a bit high, and you'd have to add that into it.
Yeah, I would agree. The shipping is what always gets.
I feel like that's what's gonna throw you off.
Yeah, especially from parts of Europe now. Like, shipping used to be $20. It could be up to $50 now, and there's nothing we can do about that. So I remember when I got this from the girl on Instagram, and then I think I also found it on the Egmont Publishers website. I think that's where you can still get it from. I paid like $5 more than I would have if I got it from Egmont. Or is it Edgemont? Right. Or is it Edgemont? I don't know. I don't know. It's one. I feel like it's Egmont. One of those.
It's fun to say Egmont.
Egmont.
So why don't we get into our top scale? Open her up. Give it a smell. Ooh, I love that. That's an exceeds expectations for sure. That is lovely.
I agree. I don't like it as much as the last one we did, but it's still a very pleasant smell.
No, I think it's great.
And again, I got this brand new. You got yours brand new. So I think it's a lot more fun to compare these brand new books because
absolutely,
we're talking about the exact same thing.
Yeah. Size and proportions of this book is 100% and outstanding. It is a big, large, beefy sized book. Oh my God, hold on. I think she's trying to climb out.
Oh dear.
She's never done that before, so little scared. Can we pause for a second? I don't know. I might have a co-pilot for the last 5 minutes.
That's fine.
All right. Please.
Are there people right here? Are there still people here? I can talk while there's people here. So, people here.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Yes, there's a bunch of people. Yeah. Hi, I'll be right back. Sometimes life happens.
Johnny, what do you mean by no special editions? You're talking about these are special editions? I thought these were the anniversary editions, I thought. Oh, no, you weren't here when we started that. We were just doing books 1 through 7, just the front cover, and not talking about the 10th anniversary or the Scholastic School Market edition. I feel like that would really sway everything. So it's kind of like if we did the UK book cover ranking, we'd have to do the original Bloomsbury 1 through 7, excluding the adult covers or excluding the Like they've had a couple rounds of adult covers. That just gets too many. Which 3 are you talking about? Also, I'm on the Egmont website right now. I'm looking for this book. You can get it on other sites, on thebookbundle.com. Fish Pond. I don't love Fish Pond. I've never actually bought something on Fish Pond, but it says it's on there. Oh, the deluxe editions. Yeah. I mean, those books are different enough where I think they deserve their own chat. It's not fair to compare them. Boy, this Egmont Publishing is in it's in English. I'll have to dig around more.
Okay, I'm back.
Do you have a co-pilot?
I have a co-pilot, but she's having a little bit of milk, post-nap milk.
Perfect.
So hopefully that'll buy us a little bit of time.
Yeah, all right.
All right. So yeah, size and proportions, for sure 100% is an outstanding. It is tall, it is wide, it is a wonderful book.
I agree, and I think the size and proportions fit the image on the cover. I feel like everything is proportionately sized, which is great. I don't think I would feel the same about this book in maybe like books 4 or 5 when they're really thick. But for this book 1, I think it's perfect, really.
Yes. Nora's adding her 2 cents in.
Fantastic.
How... This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. How the book feels in your hand, I also would give it an outstanding. I feel like because of the fact that it is big, and tall, I feel like it just holds really nicely. I love the texture of the cover. It's not that buttery texture, but it's still very smooth. Yes, she's nodding her head. She agrees.
Perfect.
Right? It's a good book.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. I don't think we mentioned this is a hardcover book, but it doesn't have a jacket. So there's you're not like touching the actual like paper of the jacket, you're touching the actual book itself. And yeah, the texture of that part feels really good. It does, and maybe we can talk about this in the quality. Like it does kind of scuff up a bit and leave a little like smear action, but that doesn't detract on how it feels. Like it's still slippery enough, but it's still grippy. It's slippery but grippy. Smooth and grippy. I would say slippery and grippy. Smooth and grippy.
Smooth and grippy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that delves into quality a little bit. I would give the quality probably an exceeds expectation. I love that it has that curved spine. So book. So it opens up really well. And I feel like you never really have to worry so much about cracking the spine. Nora just discovered the keyboard. Nora, it's your first podcast.
All right.
Amazing. Wow. But yeah, I do think that the quality is really good, but I do agree with what you're saying as far as where are you going? Bye. Go do your thing. Mommy's gonna finish her podcast. Bye. We talk now, so it's fun. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying as far as it getting dinged up and that being like the only thing that kind of deters you away from the quality a bit.
Yeah, because otherwise, like if you look at other things, when I think of quality, I think of like extras that they throw in. Like they didn't have to put more art on the inside cover paper. Like they did not have to do that. They could have left it solid blue, but there's more art in there.
It's so nice.
It's so nice. So yeah, I'd give it an exceeds expectations. I wish this book had like a jacket because I feel like they tried so hard to put art everywhere that they could just leave it. For a while, when I had this book displayed, I had it displayed like open. So that,
that's smart.
So that you could see like the Quidditch art on the papers on the inside, because I really think that's super cool. So yeah, I'll give it an exceeds expectations, and then we should talk about like what that art looks like, because it's done in a style that is very unlike any other books on our shelf, which is I think why we like this book so much.
Yeah, cover art, I would, again, give it an outstanding for sure, especially because of the fact that it is completely unique art. It is reminiscent, I would say, of Occitan, which I feel like is kind of funny that you tend to like it so much, because I feel like it does look a bit young, the cover art.
It does look it does look young, but it also looks purposeful. Like,
Yes.
the Occitan one looks more like just an accident. Like, this one, you can tell it's young, but it's got a distinct style. And I think that's even more apparent when you look at the inside of like the Quidditch players, because it's very consistent. You can see like the styling is very consistent with each character. It's not like, whoa, why does this guy have kind of a wonky arm? It's like everyone has a wonky arm. Like, everyone's hands, like Hagrid's hand on that lantern, like, whoa, that looks like how I draw hands, because I'm terrible at drawing hands. I'm terrible at drawing everything, actually. But I really like it, though. Especially the dragon on the back. It's so fun looking.
Yeah, I would say if anything, like maybe it could be compared to maybe Bosnian, which has like a very unique style as well.
Yeah,
that's not yours. You're saying mine. That's not your book. It's mommy's book, okay? Mine.
Stay away from the book.
One day they'll be yours. It'll all be yours.
And they'll all be worth it.
Yes, you can have them all one day, but not today. Today they're still mommy's. But yeah, I love this cover art in general. I love that they chose blue as like the basis, or like bluish and purple. Again, it goes with the not yours. It goes with like the whole thing I was saying about like how purple and gold are really just magical colors.
Yeah, to me that's why it looks more purposeful, because it just looks like it fits. Like it looks like a more juvenile style drawing, but it fits really well with everything else on the book. Whereas like the Occitan looks like it was just kind of thrown together last minute. So yeah, I get where people would be like, well, it looks really like a kid drew it. Well, if you're a kid and you drew this, I would think you were like a hero.
No, I think they're amazing. Do you like the books? Is it good? Book? She loves it. She also loves this book. She doesn't get to see this one because it's very high up.
Oh yeah, that'd be true.
The shelves.
I mean, it starts with a B. It's on my top shelf too.
It's all the way up there, so it's not one that she gets to see. But yeah, overall, absolutely phenomenal book. I love the unique cover art so much, and now we're playing guitar. And I will continue to always love any of these original cover art books. So.
Absolutely, and if you don't have Bulgarian, get this one. Like, you don't need the Grand Prix one. Like, I have it, but I don't care about it anymore now that I got this one. I mean, I still care about it, but it just has nothing special going on, whereas this one is very special.
I agree.
Mine came with the bookmark too, not from Harry Potter though, but
that's exciting.
I don't think mine did. From the bookstore this nice young lady bought it at, which I can't read because it's in Cyrillic alphabet and it's Bulgarian. So, which I don't know if we mentioned that Bulgarian's written in Cyrillic.
Oh, we didn't mention that, but.
Nope. But we did now.
Fun fact.
We saved it. It's written in Cyrillic. So stop your email that you were going to send in.
Yes, here is the clarification you've been waiting for.
Yes, there it is. Okay, so that is all the time we have today. Thanks for joining us on this art adventure, which I guess we can call it an art adventure. If you want to get in touch with any of us from the show, you can find us all on Instagram. I am on there at Nocturne Erik, Erik with a K, Nocturne with a K, like you're knocking on a door. And Melanie is at the Harry Potter Collection. Carly is on there at All the Pretty Books. Melanie and Carly also have wonderful websites with lots of pictures of lots of things, because I was just looking at Melanie's at theharrypottercollection.com. She has great pictures. And maybe
sometimes they're wrong.
Sometimes they're wrong, which is maybe that wasn't why I went to your website to like find all the errors on it. That wasn't why I was going. But if it was my website, I would appreciate if you went to it and said, "Hey, you should update that picture." And I would say,
"Thank you."
Yeah, I would. I will do that. Carly has a website also, which is alltheprettybooks.net. She has great pictures on there as well. And you can find other pictures of things we talk about on this podcast on Instagram at Dialoguealleypodcast. So, as always, if you like what you hear, please leave us a written review on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps our show get noticed and spread to new listeners. Also, you can just tell your pal or your, male person or, firefighter when you see him, like, hey, I listened to this cool Harry Potter podcast. I've started being bolder about that when someone's like, hey, I like your Harry Potter shirt. And I say, thanks. I host a Harry Potter podcast called Dialogue Alley. And they say, wow, that's a fun title. And I say, yeah, it is. Because really, it is a fun title when you think about it.
I think so, too.
I think so, too. And also, we can't forget to mention, we've already mentioned it earlier in the show, but if you want to help support the show, more than just leaving us a review and doing what you're already doing, you can join us on our Discord, which is a great discussion forum group that you can talk to other collectors that are collecting translations, that are collecting other Harry Potter books. It's a really good safe space to make connections. I know that a lot of people have reached out to us asking, like, how do I make connections with people, to help them look for a book for me or to keep their eyes out? Well, I think this Discord is a really great way to do that in a safe way because everyone down there is pretty trustworthy and, everyone there is kind of willing to help other people out. So we also talk about other funny stuff too, like how much I don't like the movies. So if you want to bash on me more for not being a fan of the movies, you can head over to our Discord, and you can do that by supporting us monthly on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Dialogue Alley. And that is just a small monthly donation. But it really helps us, just take care of things that we need to take care of with this podcast, because it's not free to host a podcast. I think people think it is, but it's not. So, we're going to keep doing it. So if you love what we do and you want us to keep doing it, helping us in any way is welcome. So, and we also get bonus episodes. That's what we mentioned, right, Melanie?
Yeah. And we're really trying to, establish more of a schedule to make sure they're coming out to everyone regularly. We know that we didn't come out with one for last month, but that's because we came in really hot when we first launched our Patreon, and we did 3 bonus episodes, but more of those will be on their way.
Yeah, we really pumped those out right away. Well, I feel like we needed to have more than just like one available when we started that incentive for Patreon subscribers. So, we're coming out with more. We have more in the pipeline, and we'll get those out to you. So, Melanie, do you have anything else to add?
No, just thank you so much to everyone that continues to support us on Patreon. We appreciate you all so much, and we love chatting with you guys.
And this episode, actually, we live streamed the entire thing. So if we have, 1, 2, 3, 4 Patreon members right now just listening to the entire episode right now. So yeah, thanks to them. They were able to play along and comment along and make us chuckle at some things.
Yes, we appreciate that. We always appreciate the extra chuckle.
Yes, I love chuckling. Laughing is fun. All right, so now it is time to walk back through the archway and into all of our daily lives, and we will catch you next time on Dialogue Alley. Bye, everyone.
See ya. Nora, say bye-bye. You say bye. She's waving, guys. She says bye.
She'll say bye, like, after we stop recording.
Naturally.